Welcome to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI, your home for the politically homeless, streaming live at KVI.com and the KVI app. If you want to be part of the most dangerous show on the airwaves, call or text the Warrior Injury Law Studio line at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Coming up this hour, 2 high school students are shot in Seattle, but meanwhile, Katie Wilson has our police department chasing after ICE. But before we get to any of that, my friends, time for your daily dose of adrenaline.
You want me to stick this into my heart? Are you f***ing nuts?
What's your red line? What is your red line where something happens and you say enough is enough? What is your red line? What is it? So the reason I asked this question is because when I was at the Roanoke conference 2 weekends ago in Ocean Shores, when we were out there, they had a Q&A session after the panel I did on political violence with Brandy Cruz and Jonathan Cho. And there was a gentleman out there who was really, really mad at me. Now, mind you, this is a Republican conference, or I should say a conservative conference. So usually it's friendlies. And what this gentleman was mad about was he said they tried to kill our president. They killed Charlie Kirk. There's already a civil war. Why aren't you saying, hey, let's pick up a gun and go get them? And I was trying to calm this gentleman down who was very, very worked up about this. And I was saying, look, man, right now I'm not in the mood for a civil war. And he was very upset saying, well, the other side has already declared one. And he may not be wrong, by the way. I don't think the Democrats want a civil war either, but I think their foot soldiers do. And I think they're using Antifa and whoever else to try and create one. And that's what we're seeing out on the streets. But the question is, what's your line? Here on the show, what are the things the Ari Hoffman Show is known for? Sticking up for kids, demonizing the homeless. That's what we do, right? We stand up for kids' issues, we demonize the homeless. That is, if you had to say a summary, if you ask Grok or Google or ChatGPT, tell us what Ari Hoffman discusses. That's what you're going to get, right? So, in that theme, you look at what's going on with kids. You saw these ICE protests, these anti-ICE protests across the country over the weekend. Now, the one in Seattle, I found very entertaining, on Saturday. Why did I find this entertaining? Because they were saying that the reason they were marching is because kids were locked down in schools in Seattle. You mean the giant hoax that we were the first to uncover, that the whole thing was a hoax, and I knew it was a hoax from the beginning? Because they said ICE is near Aki Karosi. And I said, that's in my neighborhood. I haven't seen ICE anywhere near there. And then they said, they're also locking down Cleveland High School. I go, whoa. Those schools are 10, 15 minutes away from each other. They're not even applicable. They're not even related to each other. What are you talking about? And then they listed 4 other schools. None of them were in that vicinity. And I said, nope, this is a scam. This is a scam. This is a hoax. Somebody saw something in a parking lot and people decided to lock down schools. And yes, we were exactly right. That's what it was. So you're telling me that 1,000 people were marching in downtown Seattle because of a hoax? 1,000 people are marching in downtown Seattle because of a hoax. No, they want the controversy. They want more of it and more of it and more of it. Now, as we saw these protests over the weekend, there were other videos we were seeing from across our area. On Friday, I got word after the show that out in Auburn, you had a whole bunch of students walking out of Olympic Middle School there, along with some high schools and other schools that were in the neighborhood and disrupting traffic. I saw kids from other schools being marched out, and where I really went bonkers is where I saw in Portland and Los Angeles. Montessori preschools, kindergartens had their kids marching out. And when you look up the staff of these schools, you go, yeah, that checks. That checks. I think these people, when they're not here in school, are busy riding with Antifa on the weekends. That checks. You're turning little kids into your stormtroopers? That's what you're doing? It's sick. It's really, really sick. And for everybody who says, hey, guys, no problem, we got homeschooling, Here in Washington, there was a bill that, thank God, isn't moving forward now, but there was a bill to make you start going along with certain requirements from the state at 6 years old. At 6 years old. I warned all private school and all homeschooling parents when you say, well, thank God my kids aren't in the public schools anymore. the requirements that they are going to push on your kids, they're going to make them the requirements of the woke insanity because they know your kids are homeschooled, because they know your kids are in charter schools, because they know your kids are in private schools. This is one father who is actually testifying about this just the other day in Olympia. Give a listen to him.
The Office of OSPI has turned into an activist organization, as proven by states' own data showing that 60% of students cannot meet state standards in math and 50% are failing in English. Why would we send our kids to our schools? The bill also calls an amendment to an RCW that OSPI approves, whether parents are qualified to provide home-based instruction or not. Now, the Office of OSPI, and with all due respect to our state superintendent, cannot articulate the difference between a boy and a girl. Why would we send our kids there?
Do you know the best part about that clip? As he was saying that, the superintendent's sitting right behind him. Chris Rakedahl, creepy Chris Rakedahl, is sitting literally right behind him as he was saying that. Do you remember this clip we found a long time ago when Chris Rakedahl was doing a sit-down interview and he said this?
It is quite simply inaccurate to say biologically that there are only boys and there are only girls. There's a continuum. There is a science to this.
So there's literally Chris Rakedahl sitting right behind this dad as he's calling him out. What's your red line? When they mess with your kids, when they mess with your finances, when they make your city not safe, what's your red line? And I'm not saying your red line for picking up a gun. What's your red line for getting involved? What is your red line where you say, I'm not putting up with this anymore, I'm going to get involved? My first red line was years ago when the homeless started impacting my businesses, my synagogue, Jewish cemeteries, nonprofits I work with, and I said, that's it, I'm getting involved. I've only been at this for about 6-7 years now? Radio, been on air for 5 years? Then when terrorists take over 6 blocks of my city, I said, oh, we got to dial this up to 11. That's when I said, okay, I got to get more involved. And luckily, I found a career where all of you out there give me a voice. One mom hit her limit, and she's a hero. She's an absolute hero. So one mom, her kid, goes to Olympic Middle School. The mom's name is Erica Franklin. Erica Franklin was coming to pick up her kid, as she always does, and she saw something going on with her kid's school. Hundreds of kids outside protesting and wondering what the hell was going on. If I saw that happening in my kid's school, I would wonder, why aren't they in school? Why aren't they in school? And by the way, this isn't the exception. This is the rule. A few months back, my sister-in-law was driving in my neighborhood, and she sent me a video. And do you know what it was? This was before the No King stuff. This was last school year. Don't forget the No King stuff didn't start until June. This was in April, May, something like that. The local elementary school near my house was doing a mock protest and walkout. Graham Hill Elementary School in the Seattle public school system. They were walking out holding BLM, the fists and the signs, little kids in a mock protest to practice. You think that what happened at Auburn is the exception? No, my friends, it's the rule. So this mom pulls up to the school, wondering where her kid is in this mess.
Is this serious? I'm pulling my child today. This is my daughter's middle school. Being allowed to protest ICE agents, disrupting traffic, having everyone honk. I'm pulling my child from school today. This is unbelievable.
When the entire school is outside and the teachers are there wearing vests. By the way, the Auburn school district said, oh, no, our staff wasn't involved. They're literally in the videos. If you say they're not involved, they shouldn't have been there at all. Oh, they're keeping kids safe. Are they? I couldn't tell the difference between them and the quote-unquote legal observers who wear the neon vests when they're out there. Give me a break. That's what we saw. That's what we saw. And I would have yanked my kid on the spot as well. Abso-flippin-lutely. This mom walked in, she hit her red line and said, I am taking my kid out of this school. Here's her conversation when she walked right into the office and said, I want to unenroll my kid from this school right now.
I'm here to pull Remington Gates from the school district.
So you want to withdraw it?
Yep. This is unbelievable. I can't believe my kid is in this environment right now. I'm blown away. Can she be brought down to the office right now, please?
Again, if we have everybody out there, we'll get her.
I'm blown away. As a mother,
Yeah. Well, so I can explain to you what we're told.
this is disrupting traffic and my child's education.
Hang on a second. Let's back up 1 second here. Did you hear what they're saying in the background? Everybody's out there right now. We can have her brought to you. So they sent all the kids out there? They were involved in this. The staff is out there. And meanwhile, the district's saying the staff wasn't involved. Listen again.
I'm blown away. As a mother,
Yeah. Well, so I can explain to you what we're told.
this is disrupting.
I can explain to you what's going on. I can explain to you what we're doing. The kids are supposed to be in school learning, and the entire school is out there. Are the majority of them protesting? Who knows? Kids will leave school for any reason. You give a kid an excuse, they'll leave school. Oh, there's a protest today? Sure, I'll go hang out with whoever on the lawn while everybody's protesting. Sure, no problem. But that means the kids aren't in school. That means the kids aren't learning. And the grades around here are so terrible, they can't afford not to be in class.
Disrupting traffic and my child's education.
Do you know the legal liability of having kids out there disrupting traffic? There's video of it. This mom wasn't exaggerating. They're out there with their signs that say abolish ICE, and I don't even care about the cause at this point. I care about the fact that the school encouraged these kids to be out there. If the staff's out there, they're encouraging it. Encouraging the kids to be out there during the school day disrupting traffic. For what? For what? For some crazy cause? You want to have the kids fight law enforcement next? You want them to stand in front of cars? You want them to resist arrest? Is that what you want? Because other parents today are sending me pictures out of White Center where the kids in those schools were blocking traffic as well today, marching down the streets with these giant abolish ICE banners with activist parents who were there as well. Give a listen to the rest of this conversation.
Her out, and then I just need to double check.
I need to see my kid.
Okay, yeah, we have to.
Okay. When she's down here, I will sign.
Unless we see your ID.
Are you serious?
Because there's unfortunately some parental agreements where
Every time I bring it in, she doesn't check it because she knows me. That's interesting.
That's okay. I just want to make sure, Erica, just sign her out, we'll get it for you.
We're just erring on the side of caution on our side.
Erring on the side of caution with the ID. For the mom who wants to take her kid out of the school, you have no idea who those activists who are outside the building with the students you're responsible for during the day. Every parent should sue that school because you put those kids at risk. It should be you're leaving the building, we're calling your parents. It should be you're leaving the building, you're getting an F today. I don't care what the cause is. And it wasn't just at this school. We've seen this across the country where teachers are marching out little kids from Montessori day schools, marching them out, little preschoolers to protest ICE. What lessons are you teaching them?
I didn't honk. I parked as soon as I walked up. So I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a huge problem, guys. I cannot believe that my child is in this environment right now. I'm ashamed and I'm embarrassed as a parent and as an adult. Wow, I thought my kid was safe here.
They're very safe here.
Obviously not. I wasn't safe walking to the front door. Are you kidding me?
They're very safe here. They're outside and we don't know what's going on, but they're very, very safe here. We can promise you the kids are safe here because they're outside protesting with a bunch of activists against federal law enforcement. Very, very safe. We believe, truly, we believe, these activists, they believe that the ICE agents intentionally killed 2 people, but they're very, very safe to go challenge ICE right now. Explain to me. Put that round peg in that square hole for me. And as if this wasn't bad enough, Mayor Nancy Backus from Auburn supported all this, talked about how great it was that these kids were walking out, issued a statement supporting them. Quote, Friday afternoon, hundreds of Auburn students gathered peacefully outside City Hall. Disrupting traffic is not peaceful. to share their voices and stand up for issues that matter deeply to them. Most of them don't care. Most of them wanted the free period. Many students took time to speak to city staff, ask questions about how government works, and learn more about civic engagement. If you believe that, I have 2 bridges to sell you that are going over Lake Washington right now. One's about to have a light rail on it. That kind of curiosity and involvement is something I truly admire. She added that Auburn is a welcoming community, not to ICE, and praised the protest as peaceful civic engagement. Are you kidding me with this? Are you kidding me with this? This is what the Democrats want. This is what these school districts want. This is what these teachers want. They want your kid as one of their little protesters. They want your kid as one of their little activists. They don't care how many Renee Goods or Alex Preddies die, as long as they get the cause. As long as they get the headlines. That's all they want, and now they're using your kids for it. This mom, Erica, is going to be joining us at 4:30 today so we can ask her all the questions. How involved were the staff? What did the kids say when they were heckling you? What did the office staff say? It is insane to me that this happened, and the question is, what's your red line? What is your red line where you say, I'm pulling my kids out of the school? What is your red line where you say, I'm going to get involved in the political process? What is your red line where you say, enough is enough, I've had it with this, and I'm getting involved to stop it? I don't mean the way the Democrats want with guns or weapons or any of that, or violently blocking traffic. In fact, there was a protest this weekend with something I agreed with, and I saw a video of them blocking traffic, and I told the organizer, guys, that's a really, really bad move. You shouldn't be doing that because that makes you no different than the other guys. What is your red line for getting involved? For this mom, it's yanking the kids out of the school. And the question is for you, how many times have we told you horror stories about public schools in our area? What is your red line for yanking them out? This mom can't afford to yank her kid out and send her to private school, but you know what? There's a GoFundMe now to help her out. There are scholarship organizations to help out parents like this who want to get their kids out of the public schools. What's your red line for that? I can't even get some people to stop subscribing to the Seattle Times, where I say, guys, you are literally funding their bad reporting because you keep subscribing to them. And yet people continue to subscribe to this rag, which they hate. Guess what? There are other ways of getting your news, guys, especially in this day and age. What is your red line to say enough is enough and this needs to stop? We go to the Warrior Injury Law Studio line, take a call from Todd in Issaquah. Todd, what's up, man?
Ari, love the show. Hey, so yesterday I was out, beautiful day. Haven't been to Green Lake in a while, walking or biking around actually. But anyway, and I come across this table right in front of Evans Pool with this poster. Caught my eye. It said, "No ICE, protect our communities." And on this table, I'll send you the video and the pictures, are all these whistles. But here's the one. You're going to love this. They have the how whistles work and directions on how to keep the community safe from ICE. And I don't know if you want me to give the text number out. These people have so much fear and so much rage, they don't know what to do with themselves.
Wait a second. Back up a second. I got to make sure I got this right. There's directions on how to blow a whistle?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll send it to you, but it says, no, check this out. Whistles, instant alert system, simple and effective. Together we keep our community safe.
Well, I guess if the scores are to be believed from the public school system, there's a reason you need instructions on how whistles work. Otherwise, you end up with like the kids in Idiocracy. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. The people who can't do the simple kid games at the doctor's office.
Yeah, but check this out. The beauty of the kicker of this was you turn it over and it's in Spanish.
Do me a favor, Todd. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to email me all that, arikvi.com. That's arikvi.com. And anybody else in our audience who sees these protests going on, do not take pictures while driving. Do not take video while driving. Do not text me. Do not email me while driving. You do this when you get there somewhere safe. I don't want to be responsible for any accidents whatsoever. But send me, if you see any of this stuff in your neighborhood, ari@kvi.com. That's ari@kvi.com. Todd, appreciate the show. Appreciate you being part of the show. Appreciate it so much. You want to be part of the show, give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. We go back to the Warrior Injury Law Studio line. Take a call from Carol in Kirkland. Carol, what's up?
Hi. Well, I have homeschooled my youngest, and she's now an engineer, aerospace engineer, which would not have happened in a public school. And we had a big homeschool organization that was very, very strong in Issaquah. This is 20 plus years ago. And one of the things we learned early on with schools, then Issaquah, which was terrible as far as this kind of stuff. 20 years ago, they were bad. So they would take the kids. Now, a lot of us just homeschooled our kids, but we went after that school district pretty much on a weekly. And we were very proactive at checking everything they did and taking legal action against them. And we had a really great attorney. And then we also had a state rep who was on Mercer Island, and he would back us up. They would shut us up at school board meetings and everything. So we went on the offense all the time. We reversed it and we went after them. So the big deal here is there are really tight rules, as you probably know. Their insurance does not cover them for those pupils off campus.
Well, actually, Carol, I think Steve here on the text line says that there's a truancy law in the state that would fine the teacher and parents guilty and could be fined $500 for taking these kids out of school. I wonder if it's $500 per case or just $500 for the overall incident, because if it's per student, there were hundreds of kids out there.
Truancy is it's a little bit more widely to harass the schools with or to get action with, but legally because your kids do fire drills and all these things, insurance only covers the schools for very specific evacuations, earthquake off campus. Other than that, they're not covered. And if they used to take the kids out in Issaquah and other schools, they would just, because they're idiots. I mean, there's no polite word for these people, but they would go out and they would decide that it was going to be like a Viking day, or they were going to take them off campus and teach them how to cross the street. You know how some of these education systems work. These people are out of there. They're crazy.
Well, yeah, we can see that by what's happening on the streets. I mean, it's really insane that they let these kids walk out of school and then they tell the mom her kid is safe when they don't know where the kid is. Carol, appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, you give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. When we come back, my friends, it doesn't look like kids are any safer in Seattle than Auburn. A shooting at a Seattle school, but Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson wants to have the cops going after ICE. We'll tell you all about it when we come back. You're listening to The Ari Hoffman Show. Welcome back to the Ari Hoffman Show. Just want to let everybody know we are having a special event. That's right. The State of the Union has been scheduled for February 24th, so we are bringing back an old-time KVI event that everybody loved, Steak of the Union, at Daniel's Broiler out in Bellevue. You get to watch a live taping, live recording, live Ari Hoffman Show out there as part of the program. Plus, we're all going to watch the State of the Union together with our president, enjoy some delicious steak, and you get my commentary afterwards, plus that of a few of my friends. Now, if you want to be part of this fun, it does cost a few bucks, and you got to sign up in advance, and this event sold out in the past. So go to kvi.com, click on the events section, and you can sign up to be part of Stake of the Union. And we have a limited number of spots. That room only holds so many people. So be one of the first to sign up. I know there were signups coming in over the weekend. I don't have the totals yet of how many there were coming in over the weekend. So make sure you sign up right now. Go to kvi.com, go to the events page, and sign up for Stake of the Union. I hear I'm even getting a kosher steak. I am very excited about my kosher steak. I am very excited about this. I'm sure there will be a whole bunch of other great treats, and we will announce our special celebrity friends who will be joining us as well the more and more we get into this event. On Friday afternoon, as Rainier Beach High School was being dismissed in South Seattle, 2 teenagers were shot and killed at the bus stop. I know Rainier Beach High School very, very well because it's in my neighborhood. That's right where I live. I live right over there. I know the bus stop. I know the whole area. It's scary to see it. I also know there's a ton of gang violence over there. Now, I'm not saying these 2 kids were gangbangers. I've seen some things indicating that they were, but this doesn't seem like it was a random, somebody just came by spraying the area. So, what's going on here? Well, there's no deterrent for crime on campuses. If there's a gang element in campuses, don't you think something like cops would help get rid of it? But let's not forget the Seattle Police Department banned officers from campuses in 2020. And there have been multiple shootings since then, and they won't bring the officers back to campus. It's really a very simple thing. And you know, Chief Wiggum, our own Chief Wiggum, Sean Barnes, could have stepped up and said, you know, we really want officers back on campus. Instead, what does he do? Blames the guns. Guys, it's not the guns. Unless that gun is Megatron in the 1980s cartoon of the Transformers, guns don't shoot themselves. Here's your Chief Wiggum.
I want to begin by acknowledging the deep pain our community is carrying this morning.
Oh, he grew a goatee.
On Friday afternoon, 2 Rainier Beach High School students were tragically shot and killed near a bus stop, just steps away from what has always been off limits, a public school.
How is it off limits? No, really, how is it off limits? What, you think a gun-free zone sign does that? How is it off limits? For the last 5 years, it's been open doors. We're not going to lock the doors. Kids can come and go as they please, and we're not going to have cops on campus. When last week they announced any reports of ICE will be reported to our safety team, who's your safety team? You don't have any police on campus. Maybe if Katie Wilson wasn't so concerned about ICE being around, then guess what? Might actually be able to deal with having cops do their jobs of enforcing the law. Maybe these kids would still be alive if there are cops outside Rainier Beach High School. This literally happened across the street. And the community showing up for a vigil. Very nice. Very sad. But you know what? I don't believe you guys. Because you show up and you say something has to be done. And then what happens? The meeting comes around where they say, we want cops back in the schools. And then everybody shows up to protest that. And you got to be louder than the protesters. You say there's more of them than you. You got to be louder than them, or you got to yank your kids. You got to say it was bad enough that they weren't learning. It's bad enough that they're being indoctrinated. Now they're being shot and killed. Why would you continue sending your kids to these schools? I don't get it. I don't get it. These kids are literally cannon fodder for Democrat policies now. Yeah, let's get rid of the cops and just hope everything's going to be okay. Are you insane? Here, even from a lefty example. Don't you want the cops on campus for Katie Wilson to have them be against ICE and protect your kids from ICE at the very, very minimum? Are you kidding me? Come on, guys. Why do the politicians have police officers guarding them? Why do the politicians have security guards? Why the movie stars? Why is everyone at the Grammys, but they hate law enforcement? Oh, spare me. We go to the Warrior Injury Law Studio line. Take a call from Leonard in Shoreline. Leonard, what's up, man?
Hey, you mentioned the fact about that young lady in Auburn pulling her kids out of school because of this nonsense. I think here's what's going to happen. Now that they've done this so-called shutdown and basically did the damage, their next goal is to shut the entire city down. No matter what zip code you're in, they'll lock it down.
Well, they already did that. Didn't we do that during COVID? We know what their goal actually is because this is what they actually do.
I'm just thinking is too, Ari. What they're going to try and do is they're going to lock everything else down. Your bank, your grocery store, everything.
Yeah, but they literally did that during COVID, so they're not exactly hiding the ball here. That's what they want. They want you to be so inconvenienced you vote for somebody else. Leonard, appreciate the show. I can't believe that's the second time I did that. Appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, you give us a call or text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Speaking of socialists not being able to run anything, when we come back, Zoran Mamdani messed up so bad that even his original lefty Hollywood supporters are mad at him. We're going to tell you what socialism results in when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. What are the Democrats really up to here? What are they doing with all this ICE protesting? It's defund the police part 2. They know how defund the police, how unpopular it was, so they're trying to do it all over again. They're just saying, oh, it's about ICE this time. No, it's about all law enforcement. They want to weaponize law enforcement against law enforcement, like with Katie Wilson. All right, look, Democrats are not being quiet about what they are doing. Here's an example. Here's Pramila Jayapal, our very own representative from Hamas.
We really need to, as soon as we get the gavels back, we have to dismantle DHS and ICE and CBP. And we have to reconstruct them to what they really should be doing. Remember, don't let people tell you that these are agencies that have always existed and they need to exist. They didn't exist before 9/11.
This sounds a lot like reimagining community safety. I've heard that somewhere before. Reallocating funds elsewhere, investing in the community. That's what this sounds like to me. It's no different. It's the same thing. Chuck Schumer, he had the whopper of all time on this.
But we also realize that this puts our democracy at risk. It's a force of thuggery. The federal government is supporting a large force of thuggery, and we really worry about its consequences for America if we don't rein them in.
Okay, thuggery. They're a bunch of thugs. Thuggery are law enforcement officers. So, demonizing ICE, demonizing law enforcement. I get it. That's what they want. They want to get rid of all of them. That's what they want. For what? Open borders? Well, yeah, then you get all the illegal alien voters you want. By the way, midterms, my friends, you know when the midterms come up, what they're trying to do is create as much chaos as they possibly can, like they did in 2020 before the 2020 election. The more chaos they can create, the more it looks like President Trump isn't doing a good job. They think this helps them with the midterms. Once again, Pramila Jayapal gives away the game of what they're actually planning to do with all this.
I voted for every Al Green's put out articles of impeachment. I've always voted to bring them. What I'm saying is that we don't have the votes right now. And I would sign on, I've signed on to articles of impeachment, but we got to look at the now. And so listen, I respect everybody. You disagree with me, I don't mind. You're allowed to do that. This is America. But I am trying to do everything I can, and I was in that gallery, okay? I almost lost my life. There is nobody that wants to impeach Donald Trump more than me.
Almost lost your life because you took your mask off? How'd you almost lose your life? So, now you want to impeach Donald Trump. Great. This is what it's going to be, a whole bunch of impeachments that accomplish absolutely nothing. Like last time, that's what happens. That's what they want, by the way. But come on, what do they really want? Kamala Harris was doing the interview circuit. I believe this was on MS Now. This is what she told them.
Congresswoman, I hear you calling for dismantling, abolishing, whatever verb you want to use, ICE. Presumably that's not going to happen in the next couple of weeks as these negotiations are going on. Republicans are not going to agree to that, and they still hold the majority in both houses. What are the specific reforms that you can demand, or that you are demanding? What are the red lines now as a condition of passing these funding bills?
Yeah, I think this is a really important question. You're right. We can't completely do what we want to do without the majorities. But what we can do is insist that ICE and CBP get out of Minnesota and our cities across the country where they are terrorizing people.
Just so we can have the illegal aliens everywhere, just so they can be voting for you. That's what you're terrified about. You're terrified that you're not going to have your voting base anymore. You know what I'm terrified about? More socialists getting elected. Now, those of you who are not from the East Coast, you do not understand what a snowstorm does. A snowstorm, mountains of snow. Mountains of snow. And depending on how bad it is in any given year, I will tell you, the year of my bar mitzvah, I will never forget this, the year of my bar mitzvah, it started snowing in December. It did not stop until April. The snow finally melted the week before my bar mitzvah, and there's still little pieces of it around. My bar mitzvah was on April 30th. That's how much snow there was. Mountains of it. And you got nowhere to put it. And it's so cold, it doesn't melt. You got to prepare for this immediately. Now, what happens is, if you live in New York, the snowplows come down the street, and they pile up the snow on the streets, on the sides of the streets. But then you got a problem. The garbage trucks can't get to the garbage, so the garbage sits there. So you eventually have these trucks that come along and kind of suck up the snow and haul it out of there. Well, unfortunately, they plowed the streets, but didn't get rid of the snow in New York City, so it froze there. So people's cars are frozen. But in addition to that, the garbage guys can't get to the garbage. So now you have rats running through the garbage. And you've got piles and piles of garbage. Not outside Gracie Mansion where Mom Donnie lives, but you got piles and piles of garbage. So as much as these lefties say, trust us, the grown-ups are in charge, socialism, the warm embrace of collectivism. Really? It sounds freezing cold. It's the warm embrace of rat poop and garbage in New York right now where people are frozen solid because Mom Donnie is so busy saying whatever nonsense he's going to do, defund the police, ensure World Cup seats for everybody. He's not taking care of the basics. He's not taking care of the basics. Like Katie Wilson. We're going to send our police officers to go attack ICE. Yeah, you're not taking care of the basics and kids are getting shot at local public schools. This is insane. This is what happens when you turn over the biggest city in our country to somebody who's never had a job before. With Mom Donnie, what do you think is going to happen here in Seattle under somebody like Katie Wilson? You know what Katie Wilson said the other day? She told Politico she was going to get all the homeless off the streets, all the homeless off the streets by the World Cup. When's the World Cup? Coming up in a few months? Really? That's the plan. You're going to do it. Well, you didn't sweep that homeless encampment in Ballard, so I think you're a little behind the eight ball. I think just a little bit. No, you know what she's going to do? She's going to clean out the area around the stadium and go, look, I got rid of all the homeless. Don't pay any attention to Ballard. Don't go over to Ballard. Nobody look at Ballard. You know what we should do? We should organize field trips. We should have tour buses. Want to see the homeless of Seattle? Come with us. We'll show you, all you people who came in for the World Cup. Want to see how Seattle was turned into a third world country? Watch this. We go to the Warrior Injury Law Studio line. Take a call from Jim in Kirkland. Jim, what's going on?
Hey, Ari. I kind of finished throwing up first after hearing all those quotes you put in there. All those lovely people telling us how wrong we are. Yeah, barf. So I think ICE is not getting much of an improved image. And I think it's because, I know it's because picture's worth 1,000 words. Somebody records on their phone, the arrest, and then they edit out everything except knockdown and cuff. And the rights defense of that is, well, they're within the law, but they're doing the right thing. But if you don't respect the law, that doesn't matter to you.
Well, that was like that was the video we saw of Alex Preddy. The video we saw the next day after everybody got mad about it, it's him kicking out the taillight of an ICE vehicle and him attacking officers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what, and I don't think body cams are doing. I think they should have a film crew with them, and just as soon as it happens, as soon as they get the call, all the way to the arrest, put it on social media, and then it's around the world.
So, see, okay, Jim, you agree with me. We should have a reality show. We should have a reality show called ICE. We had cops. Now we should have ICE. I think we just send the camera crew with them, right? I think we dial it up. People love that show. Appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, you give us a call or text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Speaking of the Hollywood elites who are all mad about their garbage not getting picked up in Manhattan and are now mad at Zoran Mamdani, the Hollywood elites were out at the Grammy stage last night. And when we come back, we'll have the insane audio for you of what they said. Yeah, they've even outdone themselves. We'll tell you all about it when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. So last night was the Grammys. And I'm convinced at this point that the only people actually watching the Grammys are journalists to have their confirmation bias in one direction or the other. That's it. So basically, if Bad Bunny says something they like, woo, yay, I'm going to share that on social media. And if Bad Bunny says something they don't like, boo, boo, Bad Bunny. We're going to share that on social media. Nobody's going to watch your halftime show. I'm convinced nobody else is actually watching the Grammys. Nobody else. I guarantee you, most of the people who shared the Bad Bunny clip did not watch the Grammys. For example, I'm about to share the Bad Bunny clip. I did not watch a minute of the Grammys, I think, in total, between all these stupid clips. Not one. Not one, Kevin.
And the first time I heard it was when I put it in the system for you to play now. So,
right.
same.
Here's another thing. Last night, there I am minding my own business at home. And all of a sudden, I see this while I'm doom scrolling on social media. I'm like, the Grammys were tonight?
Yeah,
okay.
My wife goes, are the Grammys on right now or something? I'm seeing some stuff on social media. And here's really, I know somebody who works for the Grammys.
And you didn't even know the Grammys were last night. Didn't even know. Yeah, our industry's a small industry. You're going to know people. Yeah, we had no idea. No idea. We got music stations in the building. We didn't know the Grammys were last night. That should tell you how few people watch the Grammys. Well, if you missed the Grammys, don't worry. I've got the only three things you might be interested in. Don Lemon, after getting squeezed into jail and squeezed out of jail, the Lemon was at the Grammys and got a standing ovation. So what are you applauding him for? Disrupting a religious service? Is that what it? Oh, he's the enemy of Trump. Oh, we have to. What are you applauding him for? Disrupting a religious service. That's what he's getting applauded for. Really? These people are just clapping seals. Then there's the Bad Bunny. So this is what everybody's mad about. I don't think this was the worst comment of the night. The Bad Bunny said, before I thank God, I want to bash ICE. This is what the Bad Bunny said. Give a listen.
Before I say thanks to God, I'm going to say ICE out.
All the trained seals in the room going nuts. You know how many viewers he just cost the Super Bowl of the, oh, sorry, I can't say that word. You know how many viewers he just cost the NFL for the big game that's coming up this weekend? Yes, I guarantee you, just lost a bunch of people are going over to Turning Points thing now. Okay, I know that from my religious upbringing, I was taught the first thing you do in the morning is thank God I opened my eyes, thank God I can walk, thank God I do all this. If you're going to bring God into the equation, thank him first for your sorry you-know-what being up on that stage. Then you can bash ICE all you want. Anybody here ever remember what Ricky Gervais said? Take your award, thank your agent, thank your God, get off the stage, right? That's what Ricky Gervais said. Because you people have no right to lecture anybody on anything. None of you. Then comes Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish last year, you know what her big thing was? Her big thing was she hates Jews. She wore this pin celebrating Hamas and killing Jews. Wonderful. Fantastic. This year, no mention of Iran, no mention of anything else. What's her big thing? ICE. We're on stolen land.
Grateful as I feel, I honestly don't feel like I need to say anything, but that no one is illegal on stolen land.
Okay, hang on a second. No problem. If you believe this lady, no problem, no problem. Don't you live in a $12.4 million home on stolen land? So how many of the illegals are you going to let into your mansion? I got a better idea. What is the nearest tribe to your house? What is the nearest tribe to your house? How about you give them a call and say, I would like to donate my $12.4 million mansion to you. It's a lovely Glendale home. They've got all these satellite pictures of it. I see the pool. Yes, every media outlet doxed Billie Eilish today. But it looks lovely. It looks charming, I might say. Not ostentatious. I'm kind of trying to figure out how this thing is worth $12 million. Oh, it's in California. Of course it's worth $12 million. If you believe so strongly in all of this, then guess what? Give it to the illegal aliens. Give it to the tribe.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Oh, right. I keep messing that up, Kevin. Thank you for the reminder. When we come back, my friends, lots more to discuss, including the Democrats are releasing 5, count them 5, level 3 sex offenders into a neighborhood near you. We'll tell you which one when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI, your home for the politically homeless, streaming live at KVI.com and the KVI app. If you want to be part of the most dangerous show on the airwaves, call or text the Warrior Injury Law Studio line at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Coming up this hour, the hero mom from Auburn joins us to share her version of what happened out there when she yanked her kid out of school when the students were sent out to protest ICE. But before we get to any of that, seems like a lot of you on the text line really like my idea of the World Cup Doom Loop tours, where we take people out to see the homeless encampments in Seattle. This one here from Darren, he says you can call the bus tour Seattle is Dying the Tour, or Dying to Tour. Oh, that's good too. I like that one. Hey, Eric Johnson's not doing anything. He's retired now, right? We'll get him to do it. Maybe we'll get Jonathan Cho out there. He'll be your man on the ground. People you see in the wild. Can you see Jonathan Cho out in the wild in the homeless encampment? Can you spot Andrea Suarez? This could be great. Wait a second. This one here from Jeff and Kent. Ari, what a great business opportunity. Homeless encampment tours, like Ride the Ducks, but with garbage trucks. Oh, I love it. Wait, the Ducks aren't doing anything. Did they sell them all at auction? There's got to be a couple of them Studebakers from 1950-something sitting around somewhere, right?
Yeah, it turns out that those weren't running so hot. And
is that what it was? Right, they killed a few people, didn't they?
Yeah. Had quite an accident.
A whole bunch of people died because like a wheel fell off or something, right?
On the Aurora Bridge.
So you're saying running war equipment from the 1950s as a tourist attraction may be a bad idea.
Maybe a little unsafe.
A little unsafe, yes. Yes, exactly. By the way, when they say military grade, that means the cheapest thing they could get. That's not a good thing, guys. The cheapest bidder they could get. Well, actually, maybe nowadays they just throw the money at whoever they like, so maybe it's not that cheap. But it's not that good, that's for sure, military grade. Oh, crazy stuff. This one here from Gunny. Said, Ari, today about 2 o'clock at University Place, Curtis High School students mobbed a corner by Burger King and Safeway. Had a protest regarding ICE and so on. There were probably 100 to 200 children waving signs and chanting. Maybe a few chaperones. Anyway, that's what they're doing here at University Place. Ah, charming. Great. So we're just doing this everywhere now. It's a Monday. So we're just going to send the kids out to protest? Or are these the follow-up protests? Well, we didn't get to protest on Friday, and Auburn got all the highlights and the headlines, so maybe we should do it too. Mike Kerb. Oh, this is good. Mike says we should call the Doom Loop Tour Seattle the Farewell Tour. I like that. That's very, very good. We go to the Warrior Injury Law Studio line, take a call from our frenemy, Bennett the protester. Bennett, what's going on?
Doom Loop Tour. Anybody getting points for spotting me on the way?
Oh my God, Bennett!
The guy with the big PVC
we should have had
rig.
you on the Doom Loop Tour. No, but that's the protest tour. They're two different things, Bennett. You would be on the protest tour. You wouldn't be on the homeless tour, Bennett. Come on.
Yeah, we can sell more tickets that way. Yeah, I missed you. I missed you on Friday. I called in and Kevin came on the line. It's like, Ari had to go do Jewish stuff. And I was like, that's a little racist. Oh, wait, because the sun went down. The sun went down.
Don't worry, sir. Okay. It's coming to that time of year where you get the 3 hours live. We had 1.5 or whatever it was on Friday, and every week it starts jumping by more and more on the Fridays. What's on your mind, man?
Okay. Well, and by the way, I did go to the Saturday march too, which it was kind of funny because it was like an educators and students march. At the very beginning, they were trying to stick with Seattle doesn't mess with ICE. And then, after about 20 minutes, everybody just reverted to the real version.
Okay.
So,
I saw the nice big Palestinian flag there too. It seems like they had a few competing causes.
There was something like that at the end, and I checked at the end for my direct deposit from George Soros, but apparently he's like, nope, you got to get Ari to walk back what he said on the show.
Bennett, you're doing this wrong. Bennett, you're doing this wrong. You need to get paid if you're going to these things. You shouldn't just be volunteering. Other people are getting paid, man.
Well, shoot. I mean, I do have a bunch of receipts for like the tarps and the equipment and stuff. I thought I'd put something online. It's like, please, but I'm only going to be paid for the equipment I spent on.
Get to your point, man. I got to run. What's going on?
All right. Well, I mean, you've been talking about the video that came out from a few days before Alex Preddy was shot. And here's what I'm saying. If you don't have perfect information about what happened on a specific day, then you have to make an estimate about how the person was behaving and hence whether ICE responses to him was appropriate. And if you're making an estimate about how somebody was behaving, then information about how he behaved on some other day does become relevant. What I'm saying is that if we're evaluating ICE's response to Alex Preddy's actions on January 24th, since we have an exact record of what happened, anything he did on any other day is irrelevant. You are just evaluating what ICE did to him.
So let me disagree with you a little bit here and tell you why. I have been very clear about this. I want an investigation on the Alex Preddy thing. I don't like what I saw in that video. Mind you, did I think he was resisting arrest? Did he have a gun? Yes. But I don't like what I saw in the video, okay? I have very mixed feelings about the whole situation. But here's the thing, Bennett. Wait, hang on. I'll let you talk in a second. Hang on. Do a lot of the Seattle police officers who cover the riot stuff know you at this point?
Yeah, the benefits of being a regular.
Yeah, okay. So they know you, right? They know me, they know Cho, they know a few other people, right? And they know that you are typically not going to be a problem, right?
I mean, if you're implying that these ICE agents recognized Preddy from a previous day, I don't know if anybody's made that
So
claim.
it actually was in the original report that they did. I don't know yet if they were the same ICE agents from that video. But in one of the original reports, it said something to the effect of he was known to them. Now, mind you, there's a lot of guesswork on this. But what I would say changes your argument is that if they had previous interactions with somebody, like, for example, Bennett, there are people that go to these protests that give the protesters a bad name, right? And the police officers know them. And you were at one with me where there was this lunatic woman who was just losing her mind and going after people. You know exactly which one I'm talking about. We don't need to name her on the radio, right? We know which one that was.
We don't.
But I'm saying we don't need to do it on the radio.
Your insurance doesn't cover it if I say it. Okay, so it's your show.
I got to hit the button if you do it. Anyway, she is known to people. So if she comes in hot, you know there might be a problem, right? If you come in hot, they're going to go, that's out of character for Bennett. Maybe we should give him benefit of the doubt because he's not usually violent. I'll let you have the last word, then I got to run.
I mean, I would just say with regard to, and your earlier caller, Jim, talking about, let's have camera crew, let's have more body cam videos. Once again, I'm inviting people, go look at my pinned tweet, Bennett Hazelton on X. It's the guy unloading the pepper spray in the woman's face. And I did exactly what Jim was suggesting, showing all of the context leading up to that. So look at the way the video is edited. At the very beginning, it's we can't say that phrase on the radio. It's the key moment where she gets hit with the pepper spray. And then it rewinds instantly to 10 seconds earlier, showing all the time leading up to
Bennett,
that. I think anybody saying, she reached for a weapon, she was hitting him or whatever.
Bennett, I think I'm going to go back. And if I haven't shared it, I will actually try to remember tonight when I get home to share that video, because I do think there's important context there. I 100% agree with you on that. And
well, you've already got the Soros homework.
Now you're giving me more and more homework. Bennett's going to be like the teacher who reminds me when I've fallen behind in my homework for the assignments. Appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Now, we touched on this a little bit on Friday, but this is a very, very important story, and something happened over the weekend that actually makes it more important. Let me tell you what happened most recently first. A registered sex offender with decades-long history of sexually assaulting children is back in jail after Seattle police arrested him Thursday in the Chinatown International District on new child exploitation charges just months after he was unconditionally released from state custody. You guys released a level 3 sex offender from McNeil Island, and you're shocked that he reoffended? You mean the level 3 sex offenders rated the most likely to reoffend, rated the worst of the worst by the FBI and our own state? Shock, shock! The sex offender who was most likely to reoffend, reoffended. Seattle police arrested Richard Eugene Jackson, 57, following a months-long investigation by the Seattle Police Department's Internet Crimes Against Children Unit. Detectives say Jackson is accused of possessing and distributing child sexual abuse material, having spent years in state prison at the Special Commitment Center on McNeil Island. Wait a minute. You mean our very own Alcatraz, where we were released, where we keep the convicted pedophiles and other sexual predators, the level 3 sex offenders, where we keep them on that island and don't release them? Oh, right, I forgot. Democrats just a few years ago passed this law that they want to depopulate McNeil Island and release the sex offenders into unsuspecting neighborhoods. In fact, I think we actually did a travel commercial for McNeil Island.
Washington State's McNeil Island is a beautiful long vacation destination for level 3 sex offenders. Now, Jay Inslee, Bob Ferguson, and Washington Democrats are bringing the experience to your neighborhood. Department of Corrections Tours is sending the offenders to beautiful halfway houses with no guards and no security on sprawling properties in rural residential areas. Who needs safety when you can feel good about yourself with virtue signaling? If you're asking yourself, how can I be part of the fun? Chances are you are already. No one is informing the neighbors. So look out your window and find out if you've been selected as one of the lucky recipients of a level 3 sex offender in your neighborhood. This message unfortunately not sponsored by the Department of Corrections and the Department of Social and Health Services. May the odds ever be in your favor.
So according to the Seattle Police Department, investigators received 18 cyber tips in a short period of time alleging Jackson was actively sharing and possessing sexually explicit images of children. Now, here's the crazy thing. A level 3 sex offender, you're telling me this was a months-long investigation? Why wasn't it one and done? Why wasn't it one and done? That's what it should have been. Police say they found no new evidence that Jackson physically abused children during this investigation. Well, thank God for that. But in the meantime, he was trafficking in these images. He waived his first court appearance on Friday in King County Superior Court. Judge found probable cause, set bail at $750,000. Why should there be bail at all? Why should this guy get bail? He's a convicted level 3 sex offender who never should have been released from McNeil Island. According to the police, with his history and sex offender status, he has been identified as somebody likely to reoffend. He was before. Why did they release him? Oh, right, because Democrats think it's wrong to keep anybody in jail. Democrats want to abolish the police. Democrats want to abolish prison systems. And they think keeping level 3 sex offenders away from everybody is evil and wrong. He was sent to McNeil Island in 2003, where Washington confines people like him deemed sexually violent predators, the worst of the worst. And in 2019, he was conditionally released to the Secure Community Transition Facility in King County and later moved into a less restrictive custody. Great. Wonderful. Fantastic. Court records show he was recommitted after alleged violations before eventually being granted unconditional release. How many chances does this guy get before you realize, hey, somebody who's likely to reoffend is most likely going to reoffend? But they just kept releasing him and releasing him and releasing him. Well, what do we know now? Now, we know that a house, which is supposed to have 5, count them 5, sexually violent predators, is being planned in Kennewick, Washington, which has prompted Tri-Cities lawmakers to introduce a sweeping package of legislation aimed at tightening Washington's rules for having less restrictive housing alternatives. So they want to release these guys into unsuspected communities. Don't forget, Governor Jay Inslee, back when he was governor, vetoed a line in the last slate of legislation he was signing that would have informed communities that these predators were coming to their community, but he doesn't want you knowing they're coming. Hey, where does he live again? Where does he live? Like Bainbridge Island or something like that? He lives on one of the islands. I think it's Bainbridge. Why aren't there any of these less restrictive houses over there on Bainbridge? Why do you think that is? Now, I know a whole bunch of people on Bainbridge are screaming at me right now, right? We don't want it out here. Don't penalize us because he lives out here. But if he wants them distributed equally in the state, why aren't they going in next to his house? So what's happening is this thing is being installed on 8th Avenue and Edison Street in Kennewick, Washington. Now, within a 2-mile radius, there are more than 7,400 children attending nearby schools and child care facilities, including Tritech Skills Center, Kamakin High School, Edison Elementary School, Highlands Middle School, Bright Beginnings Learning Center, Legacy High School, the Children's Academy, Teddy's Academy Child Care, Lincoln Elementary School, Tati's Daycare, Little Miracles Child Care, Ridgeview Elementary School, Mid-Columbia Partnership, and Fuerza Elementary School. Oh, did I mention that you can see from this house right out the window? You can see the community pool where all the kids hang out during the summer. Yes, that's a great thing to put right in the vision of a bunch of sexually violent predators, a bunch of half-naked people in a swimming pool. Are you people insane? Are you insane? Representative April Connors, Stephanie Bernard, and Senator Matt Banky say existing statutes allow to make sure that these providers prioritize administrative efficiency over public safety. Connors has introduced 4 bills aimed at increasing oversight, transparency, and physical separation between sexually violent predators and vulnerable populations. Her proposals would require local supervision of offenders, expand buffer zones around schools and child care facilities, mandate early notification when properties are purchased for LRA use, and ensure that treatment providers are directly accountable for housing operations. Now, you may say, Ari, why isn't she just saying, get rid of the law that's releasing all these guys? It's not going to happen because the Democrats are the majority. So what Republicans are trying to do is make it so impossible to open one of these things, you're not going to be able to do it. Now, mind you, look for the Democrats that won't grant these things a hearing. Look for the Democrats that won't vote for these things. Look for the Democrats that vote no on this stuff. Barnard's companion bills would prohibit LRA placements next to homes with minors. Oh, did I mention there's a house with children right next door? Right next door. That's where you're putting this thing. Bars placements in family-dense neighborhoods. Establish line-of-sight restrictions in their school and child care facilities, like, for example, a pool, and require courts to reconsider recommendations from county prosecutors before approving any site. Let's not forget the Sex Offender Policy Board and the Washington State Sentencing Guidelines Commission have advocated for reducing restrictions. Let's not forget Senator Lisa Wellman. She's the one who loves reducing restrictions on sex offenders. You have a whole bunch of Democrats now that want to reduce the sentencing for sex offenders who are caught in net nanny stings. You know, the ones who are caught by TV shows like Catch a Predator or by the FBI. So technically they thought they were communicating with a minor. Turned out it was an FBI agent. They want the restrictions reduced for them. And let's not forget the guy who's in charge of the sentencing board, the Sex Offender Policy Board, is a lawyer for sex offenders. It's insane. Absolutely insane, because anybody with common sense can look at this and go, this is the craziest policy ever. I thought we had a deal where sex offenders just go in the woods and kill themselves. I mean, why do we have to pay for them for the rest of their lives in some nice little retreat in a residential neighborhood? Keep them on McNeil Island. Otherwise, you're going to have problems again. Thank God the Seattle police found this guy in Chinatown before he did anything worse than look at material online. But this is a guy who has done horrible things in his past and was likely about to do it again, because they are the ones who are most likely to reoffend. So I go back to the question I asked at the beginning of the show. And I know some of you called in. I didn't get to your calls. You call back in now. We'll get to them. What is your red line? Where is it where you say, enough of this insanity? I am going to get involved. I am going to be part of the process. I am going to run for office. I am going to give money to candidates. I am going to have meetings that are fundraisers for candidates. I'm going to encourage my friend to run. I'm going to go to Olympia and testify. What is your red line that's going to get you involved? We go to the Warrior Injury Law studio line. Take a call from Daniel in Tacoma. Daniel, what's going on, man?
Hey, Ari, when Bob Ferguson got into office, wasn't one of the first things he did was knock about 100 or so of those SVP predators on the island off the island?
I think he was doing it while he was Attorney General. So I don't think he especially did more when he got elected, because there weren't that many left. He was doing most of it while he was Attorney General. I think that number, because I think there were only 25, 26 of them left by the time he took office. I think that number is how many he got off the island while he was in office.
Oh man, this is just one that they've caught, and just wait till they catch the rest. They'll all. That should be blood on his hands.
Well, this hopefully not. Hopefully we just stop this. And you know what? It takes people stepping up and saying no to this. Daniel, appreciate the call. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show? You give us a call or a text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Lots more to discuss as the show continues, my friends. When we come back, so great, you arrest all these guys, but what about activist judges releasing them? Well, it looks like one of the activist judges on the Washington State Supreme Court is calling it a career. Is this a chance for a GOP pickup? We'll discuss when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome back to the Ari Hoffman Show. Just a reminder, everybody, the State of the Union is on February 24th, and we are bringing back a KVI favorite event, Steak of the Union, at Daniel's Broiler that night. We'll be doing a live broadcast of the Ari Hoffman Show. You can participate. I'm a lot more fun with a live audience. We can interact. You think your texts aren't going through or your phone calls, you can interact with me right there. Plus, we're going to have some special guests there, and you get to enjoy a steak dinner at Daniel's Broiler. So head on over to kvi.com, click on the events page, and sign up for Steak of the Union. You're going to get my analysis from a lot of my friends. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you get to have a steak dinner with me. Plus, I'll find out what the bar situation is, because you get a few drinks in me, I'm a little more fun. We'll do that when the live broadcast is over. We'll be drinking during the president's speech. Maybe we'll come up with a drinking game. No, we get in legal trouble for that. No drinking games during the president's speech. We won't do that. Won't do that. Meanwhile, here we found out today that Justice Barbara Madsen is calling it a career. She's one of the Washington State Supreme Court justices, and she's going to retire from the bench. This is the second justice to announce that they are calling it a career, which means there's an opportunity for the GOP. There's an opportunity for them to step in and try and get some common sense justices elected. You know, the left is going to try and get people who are even more hardcore insane elected. So it's up to you guys. Do you have any recommendations? I know some of you have put forward some recommendations, but we may need a few more. We need to get some people out there, some people with a chance. Who do you think could actually get elected? Or maybe this is your red line. Maybe you say this is your red line and this is where you want to step up and get somebody, or you want to run for office. Maybe this is your red line and that's what you want to do. You want to know one of the other insane proposals out of Olympia we got this week? You ready for this? Democrats are pushing a proposal that establishes a list of demographic groups that are presumed to be socially disadvantaged for the purposes of state business certification. Based on the amount of those categories, roughly 70% of Washington state residents would fall under the bill's definition of socially disadvantaged. Under existing statute, the Office of Minority and Women's Business Enterprises defines a socially disadvantaged individual as someone who has experienced racial or ethnic prejudice or cultural bias within American society due to group identity stemming from circumstances beyond the individual's control. The agency may also determine social disadvantage by a case-by-case basis. House Bill 2684 states that women, Black, African American, Hispanic, Latino, Native American, Asian, Pacific Islander, Native Hawaiian, Middle Eastern, North African, LGBTQ, and other individuals identified by the organization rule are presumed to be socially disadvantaged for the purpose of state certification. The bill also covers people whose ancestry originates in a wide range of countries in the region across East Asia, Southeast Asia, Pacific Islands, and parts of the Middle East and North Africa, as well as members or descendants of federally or state-recognized tribes. In addition, the legislation authorizes the Office of Minority and Women's Business Enterprises to designate other groups as socially disadvantaged through future rulemaking. Now, our friend Todd Myers from the Washington Policy Center took a look at this because the list is insane. It's basically everybody. Well, you may have noticed who's not on that list. He said, based on this list, roughly 70% of Washington state residents would be socially disadvantaged. Oh, congratulations, guys. You're all minorities now. Congratulations, 70% of you. Then one commenter on here wrote, based on this list, they wrote, everybody in Washington is socially disadvantaged except straight, white, Christian, or Jewish males. That's basically it. Kevin, you and I are screwed. Look at this. Bounded together by the Washington state legislature. Isn't that amazing? We're both completely screwed in this. Interesting. So 70% is socially disadvantaged. Talk about the soft bigotry of low expectations. We're calling you disadvantaged, socially disadvantaged because of the color of your skin. We're calling you socially disadvantaged because of where you came from in the world. You are socially disadvantaged. This is the insanity they're doing in the Washington state legislature. You know how they do this? This is like the same thing they do with LGBTQIA. If they can add more letters, then you're a member of the club. And now you are oppressed, and you have to fight for our rights because you're a member of the club. Do you know why they're doing this? The proposal comes just days after the U.S. Small Business Administration issued formal guidance reiterating that race-based presumptions are not permitted in Federal Business Development Program, and the SBA emphasized that race-based discrimination within the program is unconstitutional and unlawful. Do you remember during COVID, all these businesses were dying? And then Seattle and Washington came out with these plans to fund businesses. Not so fast, you white guys. No. You have to be minority, you have to be a woman, you have to be an Asian, you have to be black, you have to be Hispanic, you have to be whatever. Otherwise, you don't get help from the government, even though the government shut down your businesses. So discriminatory. It's like the same thing they're doing with these reparations bills here in Washington. Oh, you want a loan for a house? No problem. What's the color of your skin? Not so fast, you people over there who were discriminated against with redlining. Just the ones we actually want to pick. This is what they're spending their time on. So the Trump administration, based on the Supreme Court ruling about affirmative action, said you can't judge somebody just by their skin color. You have to say, this is nuts. It's by merit. Are you actually socially disadvantaged? What does socially disadvantaged mean, Kevin? Does that mean the kids in the AV squad? Is that what they're talking about, socially disadvantaged? Does that mean the kids who like carry around the towels for the basketball team? I don't know what socially disadvantaged means. I have no idea what they're talking about here because they're making this all about race. I don't mean to pick on the computer club kids, but those kids run the world right now. So I don't think they're socially disadvantaged. In fact, I think that Bill Gates was a little too socially advantaged, if the Epstein files are to be believed. They're all allegations now. Socially disadvantaged.
Maybe they just don't have access to Facebook and Twitter.
Oh.
And,
that's what it is. Oh,
disadvantaged.
socially.
Yeah.
They don't have social media.
Yeah.
I thought it was kids who
that's
play Dungeons and Dragons. That's what I thought it was. Oh, am I upsetting people right now with all this? Okay, guys, I'm a huge dork. I talk about Star Wars and Star Trek all the time. Can we be real about this? How do you think I know what socially disadvantaged was? I had a very socially disadvantaged upbringing until I got contact lenses and stopped moosing my hair in a frozen, it wasn't mousse, it was that gel, that crusty gel we had in the 90s. You know what I'm talking about.
LA Looks?
Yes, absolutely. That's what it was. Crusty. Here, you want young Ari Hoffman? I'm sure I can find a picture of this. Young Ari Hoffman, Coke bottle, glasses that look like they came out of a Cracker Jack box because they actually look like Cracker Jacks on the sides. And then I had my hair in a perfect swoop thanks to the LA Looks or whatever it was. And sitting on top of that was a neon green Back to the Future hat I got with the computer game. I was awesome in my jean jacket. Let me tell you, I was very, very cool. Not the socially advantaged person you see in front of you now. I was very socially disadvantaged. How come I don't get any help from the government? That's what I want to be declared socially disadvantaged. I will submit my pictures. You know what? When I apply to be socially disadvantaged, I'm just going to submit that where I'm wearing like a Star Trek t-shirt. I'll just send that all in. We'll see what'll happen. This is the stuff they're doing in the Washington State Legislature. We had more layoffs announced today. We had layoffs announced from T-Mobile. We had layoffs announced from Zillow. We had the number 2,000 people being laid off from Amazon just here in Seattle. More layoffs, and they're worried about being socially disadvantaged. Everybody's going to be socially disadvantaged because soon you're not going to have a social environment here in Seattle because everybody's going to leave. This is beyond crazy. Absolutely beyond crazy. And speaking of crazy, my friends, Auburn. You had that Olympic middle school let all its kids go out and protest. Well, when we come back, the hero mom who stepped up and said, I am yanking my kid from this school today. No more of this nonsense. We'll talk to her when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Well, my friends, over the weekend, a video went viral of a hero mom in Auburn, Washington, who recorded herself removing her 7th grade child from Olympic Middle School on Friday after learning that the students had been encouraged to walk out in the middle of class, hinder traffic, all to protest ICE. Joining us now to discuss on the Warrior Injury Law studio line is Erica Franklin. Erica, hero mom, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. That word hero, I'm not sure how to absorb it, but it's much appreciated, and I have a lot of gratitude for my country.
Well, I'll tell you this. Take it as a massive, massive compliment. Now, I got to start with this, with the circumstances of what happened. The video starts with you showing up to the school, saying a word I can't say on air, so we're not going to say that today, which is fine, but you say, "This is unbelievable," as you're seeing basically the entire school outside. I saw staff members there, it looked like, because I see people wearing the vests. Were staff members helping the kids with this protest and hindering traffic?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yes, but I do want to make it clear that this wasn't violent. I do not believe it was forced, like people are accusing that I've said, and I haven't said these things, and I don't believe that. But the teachers were out there. There were parents out there. Most of the teachers that I recognize because they had vests on, like yellow and blue, and they were kind of like keeping the crowd at bay and helping traffic, and so yeah, that's helping. That's helping to me. And I also noticed parents out there that were involved, clearly involved.
So was this the kind of thing that you found out by word of mouth? What brought you to the school that day? Was it near dismissal time and you were going to pick up your kid and you ran into this? Did you hear what was going on? How'd you find out what was happening?
It's just a daily routine, and I normally don't even park in the front of the school anymore because it is actually dangerous after school. Kids don't cross the street properly, so I park in the back near handicap because I am. So it's easier for quick to come out. So on my daily routine, I come, and where my path is, I see the front of the school before I turn to go back. So I see all of this as I'm just going to pick her up.
Wow, unbelievable.
And so my first interaction wasn't even recorded. I actually pulled up by the crosswalk there and said, "Hey, is everything okay? What's going on?" And he looked at me like, "It's a protest," type of look. And I went, "Are all the kids out here? Is my kid out here?" And he goes, "I don't know." I said, "This is not okay." And I went around, I turned, and I parked in front of the school, started recording. It was just a normal day for me until I went to pick my kid up from school.
So the video continues, and you're walking up the walkway to the school. You're videoing all this, and you say that some of the kids were jeering at you. Some of the kids were making comments. Some people were saying things because you were there. What were they saying to you?
Well, I had originally, like I said, pulled up in front of the entire crowd, not knowing what I was driving into. But I do want to make clear that the walkway to the school was completely blocked, and I had to walk through the mud and grass. So there was no pathway to the front door. I want to make that clear. But yes, those students watched me from being in front of them, pull around and park and get out. And as soon as I got close enough, a couple of them said, "Hey, boo," and they all turned and pointed and booing. And I don't know what's heard, but there were kids were screaming "F Trump" type of thing. So they all noticed me and pinpointed me and started booing me. And I don't know. I didn't do anything to trigger that.
Gotcha.
I didn't do or say anything to trigger that. So, but yes, absolutely.
So you walk into the school building, you see what's going on, and you ask for your daughter. And they don't even know where your daughter is in the video. They said, "We don't know where she is." My wife, who reached out to you, she saw your post on TikTok. She said, "You got to have this woman on your show right away." She said that she would have been completely freaking out that the school didn't know where her kid was. I assume you were in a similar situation.
Yeah. My heart immediately went from 0 to a million. If you notice, I'm out of breath, and it's not from moving too fast. It's from trying to keep my composure. I knew in my heart where my daughter was. She was in class because I raised that girl. She's a good kid. I knew she was in class. I knew my child was not out there once I parked. My heart just knew.
Okay.
I just knew.
So you got your daughter and you left campus and you demanded they escort you, rightfully so, through that crowd of kids because God knows what was actually going on out there with activist parents and whatnot. I normally find that something like this, usually there's a bunch of things that build towards it. Was this the final straw for you, or was this just such a big deal that you said, I got to get my kid out of here right now?
I have been wanting to get my daughter in a safer educational environment for a very long time. I trusted Olympic. This is only our second year here. This was the last straw. I've been seeing this just continue to escalate and not even de-escalate a little bit. That's it for me. No excuses. I do care what people have to say, but I don't care what anyone has to say when it comes down to excusing this.
Gotcha. Now, I reached out to the school after I saw the video before you and I even spoke, and I got a response this morning. And when I said, why was your staff participating in this? Why were they doing that? And they said, we don't see that in the video. Can you send us evidence that our staff was participating? And I'm going to write them back as soon as we're done talking today. Well, they're out there wearing the vests. And if I'm not mistaken, I heard in the video one of them say, well, let's explain to you what's going on or something like that. So it seems like the staff was fully on board with this. Did emails go out saying this might be happening? Was there any warning this might be happening? And what would you say to the school district that says the staff wasn't involved?
I can't say that on air. Staff was involved, and that's how I'm going to comment on that.
Gotcha.
And you can see it. Anyone with a clear mind and a rational mind can see it. All I got to say is, yeah, they were involved.
Okay.
Parents too.
So now you've gone viral. A lot of people are calling you a hero. I think you're a hero. My wife thinks you're a hero. I know a lot of people in my business do because you're setting an example for so many people. So what would your message be? Is it don't wait until something like this happens to get your kids out of the public schools? Would it be try to change the public schools from the inside? What would your message be to all the people who are listening right now?
The main thing I want to emphasize is that the children that stayed in class are the real heroes. They deserve to go viral. All I see is these kids out here marching, misbehaving, acting fools, and the kids that stayed in class have zero recognition, and I'm being called a hero. Let's lift these kids up that stayed in class. They're the heroes. They're the champions and MVPs.
I couldn't agree with you more. Erica Franklin.
I mean, my message is if we want change, hi, I'm Erica. I have a voice and I'm scared to have one now, but let's do it. Let's go. Let's save these kids. As generic and as cringe as it sounds, let's save the kids.
Erica Franklin, that was just, it's really, you have no idea, I think, a movement that you've started. And I'm actually going to be reaching out to some school districts and asking how many people followed your example. But you're 100% right. The kids that stayed in class and continued learning that day, you are 100% right. It would have been so easy. And I know that as a kid, I would have gone, all my friends are walking out. I might as well go with them today. But the fact that those kids stayed there.
Most of them were out there. They just don't want to be in school. I'm sorry. My kid personally loves school. They just didn't want to be in class, and it was a free pass. And they had no clue the level of danger every single one, inside and outside, were in.
Yep, absolutely.
Terrifying.
Absolutely. Erica Franklin, thank you so much for joining us today. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It is such an honor to meet you and a privilege to be here and be a voice for my country. And I just want to say God bless the children and God bless my country. And I love you right back.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you, Erica. We got a whole lot more to discuss as the show continues. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Is that Zach's new theme song? A lot of you have been asking where young Zach is, where producer Zach is. Well, my friends, we sent him down to San Francisco for the big game to cover everything that's going on with your Seahawks. And he joins us now. Zach, how's it going in California? Hawks!
I'm not in San Francisco. I'm at San Jose at the San Jose Convention Center. It is opening night. And the Seahawks are going to go do some press stuff. We got, hundreds of people here waiting in line to see it all go down here in San Jose. A lot of these guys aren't even going to the game. I got Julian here. He drove down. Where'd you drive down from, Julian?
From Palo Alto.
Palo Alto. Anybody come from Seattle area? What? Wow, we got a good job getting the Niners fans out of this town. I appreciate it. It is a lot of fun. It's crazy. We did go to San Francisco I got my credentials today. And the city is just covered. Sam Darnold's face is on bars that have Niners flags in the window. It is incredible. I love it so much.
Zach, we need pictures of the Seahawks stuff over the 49er stuff. We need pictures of the Seahawks logo on that stadium. Wherever you can get those pictures, you just send them. We'll share. You should be sharing them on the KVI social media account so that way we can have them all.
I was trying to keep it all undercover till I got here, but yeah, absolutely, for sure.
That's awesome. So tell us about the things you've seen so far. Where are you right now at the convention center? What's going on in the convention center?
I'm outside. I'm not allowed to broadcast from inside, so I'm outside. And by the way, this is where the fans are. I'm walking for blocks and blocks. See! This is fun. I'm going to do this all week. This is awesome. I'm on my third block. It's wrapping corners. I'm on my third block of Seahawks fans. This is awesome. Why would I want to be inside right now?
Yeah.
I could be out here with this many 12s. So go to San Francisco. I get my fancy little badge. And, the Bay Area is plastered in Super Bowl stuff, plastered in Seahawks stuff. And these places are like an hour away. The teams are down here in San Jose. Santa Clara, that's where the game's going to be at. There's a convention center down here. A lot of those press conferences will be going on right now. Opening night, the Patriots are in there doing some press stuff right now. Seahawks will be going in about an hour or so. So that's kind of what's going on down here in San Jose. And then there's a whole bunch of different fan experiences. And most of the people I've been talking to aren't even going to the game. They're just down here hanging out, having fun with their teams, whether it's from New England or Seattle, or they moved to the Bay Area and are just, converting Niners fans left and right is what it seems like.
So when the All-Star game was in town in Seattle, a lot of the fan experience stuff was actually better than the game itself. The All-Star game, no great shakes. The Home Run Derby was a lot of fun. When we went for the RNC, a whole section of the city was taken over. And while there were flags, it didn't seem like there was a lot of decor, as you're describing. You're saying is there's just stuff plastered everywhere in San Francisco.
And every business, every bar, every building obviously wants a part of it. It is pretty cool to see. And you brought up the conventions, and that's a good point. The security is very similar, if not more so, and heightened than it was at the conventions. You recall how strict and locked down that all was. So this is very similar. Tomorrow morning there's a press conference, and there's people from the FBI and Homeland Security, and they're going to go into all the details about what security's like and kind of how that's going to go down. I've seen, some small pocket protests, nothing really big yet, but that's one of my questions tomorrow is, are they expecting any large-scale demonstrations and how they intend to deal with that?
There's another question. It's what happened to all the homeless in San Francisco?
They're gone.
They're gone.
I roll up. I thought I had to check Google Maps. I thought I was in the wrong city. The streets are clean. Things smell nice. It's insane. I expected that from San Jose, but not San Francisco.
Oh,
It is. Whatever company came and cleaned up Seattle for the All-Star game, they made their way down here.
They just sent them down there to do it. Now, Zach, you say a bunch of these people are Seahawks fans that are down there. Is it the kind of thing where, okay, West Coast, East Coast, so a lot of the California fans are like, well, if the Rams and the Niners aren't in it, we're going to go for the Seahawks, even if they're rivals,
no.
or are these Seahawks fans?
No, in fact, if I were to say what if there's any protest activity going on, it's Niners fans who just showed up just to... Which it's like, I don't know, man. We're in the game. You're not,
Right. Okay, so you're going to this press conference tomorrow where they're going to tell you about all the safety and security. Have you noticed anything from the politicians? Are they scheduled to speak at any time? Because we know politicians love showing up and taking credit for everything the teams do.
Yeah, see, the thing is, they love to show up. I'm not interested in showing up for them. So all the Bay Area, community, or city council members, whatever, at the different cities, they're all doing a little press conference here and there, and I don't care. What do I care?
Okay, so I'm going to ask
for them
one
to,
favor.
for them to tell me how they pretended that this is how clean the city is all the time. No interest. I didn't want to hear it from our own politicians. I don't want to hear it from theirs.
All right, so I got to ask one favor, okay? I need you to take one for the team. If Gavin Newsom's doing a press conference, would you mind going to that one and asking him where'd all the homeless people go? That would go viral in like 2 seconds.
If he's walking around, I'll talk to him.
Okay, just making sure.
I'll do the same if I see Nicki Minaj.
All right, excellent. What are you looking forward to tomorrow, Zach? What are you looking forward to the rest of the week?
You know, it's been such a the timeline of when we learn we're this is only one. The game's obviously a week from yesterday, but I only find out about most of this and getting down here over the course of last week, so I haven't even had time to really dive into everything. I'm going to be up front with you, Ari. This is my first Seahawks game.
Ah, right. Zach's never been to a football game before.
Not because I'm not a fan. It just hasn't worked out that way. So I'm just excited to take this all in and just be a part of everything. And, I mean, it's just like the conventions. It's just like any other thing that takes over a city. It's not one day. It's not one game. It's not 2 hours with a halftime show. It's just an entire region that's been taken over with this thing, and that's pretty cool to see.
Hang on, I want to backtrack a second. Yes, for all of you who went gasp when Zach said he's never been to a football game before, Zach's Seahawks game. Seahawks game. Sorry,
UW,
you go to
ticket
UW.
holder.
For those of you who go, he's never been to a Seahawks game before. His first Seahawks game is watching them in the Super Bowl. Now, Zach, I just got to get you to weigh in on one little story locally while you are out there. I don't know if you saw this. Katie Wilson had a bet with the mayor of Los Angeles about the Rams. Now, this bet was very stupid because Katie Wilson, because she won and the Seahawks
What, loser
won,
has to put out a fire?
Yeah, I said, that's good. She sent a present to Karen Bass. That is the most backwards bet ever. Are you supposed to get something when you win a bet?
I
That's
saw her
crazy.
post that, and I was really confused. I was very confused because I was like, wait, did Karen Bass send you Seahawks stuff? The bet is you send. I don't know what's. Oh, Ari, breaking news.
Yeah.
I found the end of the line.
Okay.
I've been walking since we started talking. I found the end. Oh, now I got to go back.
Excellent. All right, we will leave it there. More from young Zach from San Francisco, leading up to the big game on Sunday. Zach, thank you so much. Do appreciate it.
Sorry.
All right. When we come back, my friends, lots more to discuss, including Jay Inslee's really dumb tweet about journalists in response to the squeezed lemon. We'll tell you all about it when we come back. You're listening to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI. Welcome to the Ari Hoffman Show on Talk Radio 570 KVI, your home for the politically homeless, streaming live at KVI.com and the KVI app. If you want to be part of the most dangerous show on the airwaves, call or text the Warrior Injury Law Studio line at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. Coming up this hour is legislation about to stop illegal truck drivers from getting commercial driver's licenses. Yeah, it's actually part of that big bill they're negotiating out there in D.C. But before we get to any of that, Erica, the hero mom that we had on the show a couple segments ago who yanked her daughter out of school when the school out in Auburn, Olympic Middle School, decided to go on an ICE protest, she pulled her daughter. So a lot of love for her on the text line, and it's really, really amazing. This one here from Bevin. This one says, "Hi, Ari. Great interview with Erica." So basically they're encouraging the audiences to vote no on a whole bunch of these school levies to send a clear message that we don't approve of the path they're on. And by the way, you're not wrong about that. They have all these school levies, all these taxes out there on the ballot right now. You want your money going to stupidity like this? Now, it's not just Auburn. We told you about the protest in White Center today. We heard about the protest in Seattle on Friday. I don't know about you. I was getting emails from every single school district forwarded to me about how now they're all virtue signaling, saying we had nothing to do with this, but we let the kids walk out the front door. I remember if I wanted to leave my school, now granted, my school had guards, my school had armed security, my school had all this stuff. To get out that door, you needed a note, and there were security guards there. You weren't going anywhere, even as a senior. Even me, who was known senior year for taking frequent breaks, shall we just say, from school, I wasn't getting out of there without some shenanigans. I needed the note.
I can tell you it was not that way. Having grown up in a small town here.
Yes.
In Lake Stevens, it was very easy to leave school.
Oh, I'm sure.
Very easy.
Yeah. Here you just walk out the front door because you could just walk in the front door too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. My schools growing up weren't like that at all. But you got to ask yourself a question. Now you have a liability problem. What is really to stop anybody who wants to do something bad from walking into the school and doing it? We talked about what happened at Rainier Beach High School this weekend. There's no reason you had to cap them at the bus stop. What's to stop them from getting in the schools? Most of these schools, they don't have, just wait there till, even if they have locked doors. Okay, they have locked doors. Just wait there till somebody comes out. Just wait. I shouldn't be giving ideas to people. It's really
what are you
hard.
doing?
I'm not trying to do that, but I'm saying it's like they don't have cops on campus. You've now painted a giant bullseye on everybody.
We did have an officer on campus, though.
Right. They don't have that no more in a lot of these districts.
You could come and go pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
We had an officer on campus, but it was one guy.
Yeah.
It was a pretty decent.
He's not going to stop
campus.
a mob of people coming out of like a whole bunch, even if they're middle schoolers.
And there's several buildings that you can come and go, right? Like my campus wasn't like one giant, school that you'd see in like the movie Grease or something. It was several buildings with an outside area.
So what's interesting, Kevin, is a lot of the buildings around here have been replaced. They were like the ones you're talking about. Excuse me. And now they're being turned into the mega buildings for whatever reason, like Bellevue High School, for example. Bellevue High School used to be exactly what you're describing, and now they have big mega building. They did that, I don't know, about 15 years ago or something like that. They're all moving away from that old model. I assume security may have something to do with it, or maybe it's just easier to maintain one building as opposed to 4 or 5 little buildings. But yeah, security is a joke at these places. Absolutely a joke. You can just leave. You can just go. And that's a huge liability for the school. I know that when I was a youth director, kids want to drive themselves places. I go, not on my time, not on my time. And I remember years before that, this is a crazy story, was that we were in the middle of nowhere and one of the kids wanted to drive his car because the cool thing was driving your car up to the camp in the middle of nowhere and you got your car. He hit a deer and he almost wrecked his car. And the parents were like, why is my kid driving? And we're like, well, why'd you let him drive up there? And they said, no, he's on your time. Why was he driving for the Saturday night activity or whatever it was? And you know what? At the end of the day, the parent's not wrong. That was our responsibility. But yeah, when the kids are on your time, they are your responsibility. And when you let them run out like that, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Don Lemon could be out in the streets. That guy's dangerous.
When we had got the driver's licenses and all that stuff, same sort of deal. You want to drive everywhere at that point.
Yeah.
But it was always at lunch going either to McDonald's or Taco Bell, which was kind of it was on the other side. It was Lake Stevens. It was on the other side of the lake from the high school.
Yeah.
So you kind of had to hustle a little bit if you wanted to get over there and get back in time.
Sure. I mean, when I went to high school and I was a senior, they let you out for lunch But driving anywhere in Manhattan, that was a no-go. You weren't really going anywhere unless there was something nearby. You weren't going anywhere.
It didn't hurt that the vice principal was my neighbor, my next door neighbor. And so hi, how are you?
That's funny. See, a friend of mine,
go on through, because he'd stand out there by the gate.
I see. Oh, so, you could just go. You could just go. Yeah. No, a friend of mine, his father was the principal, not of my school, but of a different school. And I said, so did you get away with murder? He goes, no, my dad was the tough one. And they wouldn't send me to my dad thinking he'd be easy on me. They sent me to somebody else. No, it was never good for me, is what a friend of mine said. You're very lucky there, Kevin. Yeah, but this is happening all over the place. In fact, a ton of you are actually emailing me and texting me. This one here from Gabrielle on the text line. Hey, Ari, this is Gabrielle from Lakewood. Visited my granddaughter on Saturday in Ferndale. Found out by my granddaughter that they walked out on Friday protesting. She's only 12 years old. I was upset that instead of learning, they were out protesting. Very difficult to intervene. Parents do not seem concerned. I'm going to talk to them. Okay. Well, I think in this case, somebody sent me an email or text over here. I forget which one it was, saying the schools are getting blamed for this, but really it's activist parents doing it. No, I'm going to clarify that a little bit. Schools are getting blamed because they never should have let the kids leave the building. And it should have been, you leave, you're getting an F for a day or an unexcused absence or whatever the case may be. And instead, you see the school staff is out there wearing the vest. It's not the activist vest. There's a difference in vests. I have grown to know vest culture, neon vest culture because of this. It's the school staff that's out there. It's the school staff facilitating any of this. They should have said absolutely not. And you know what? You want to be activists in the school? You shouldn't be doing this in the school, but you know what you should have said? Let's have a discussion about civics. Let's have a discussion about ICE. Hey, kids, you don't like what ICE is doing? Here's how you can encourage the Democrats in Washington state to try and change the law. Nobody's talking about changing the border law. Nobody's talking about immigration reform. It's just, we hate ICE. We hate the police. We hate Trump. That's all it is.
But you know what the teachers are going to say? They're going to say that this is an example for the kids to know that in this country, you have a right to protest.
100%.
And this is probably what they're just going to say is like, hey, sometimes when we've got certain things going on in the country that you can, it's a good time to use it as an example. I'm playing devil's advocate here, but like they would just say, when there's something in the news that will allow it to be, obviously, it only goes one way.
Yes.
But if it allows us to give an example of your right to protest, then we like to take that opportunity. So that's probably what they're going to say.
We are the most pro-devil show on the radio, and we like the devil's advocacy around here, but there's one problem. When you do what they did in Auburn where you're blocking traffic, that is no longer a peaceful protest. You are now blocking traffic, and you have a major safety concern. Now, here's a great question for a lawyer. Maybe I should reach out to our friends over at Warrior Injury Law. We should reach out to them and say, hey, guys, what's the school's liability for any of this? You want to go protest, fine, but you're responsible for those kids. Even you and your friends, when you drove off campus, if God forbid something had happened to you, the school is liable for that because it's during the school hours. So now what's the liability for kids going into traffic and blocking cars?
I believe initially I had to have a letter from my parents authorizing my approval to leave campus during lunch.
Yeah.
So initially you would turn that in, and once it was on record, you were fine.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a permission sort of granted by parents so you could leave campus. So that's probably what they did back then, to be like, okay, but if your kid did it and they weren't supposed to.
Right. And now here's something else, is that we're finding out that a lot of these schools didn't give any advanced warning whatsoever. The kids just went out. It's one thing to say, hey, parents, tomorrow is a protest. Now, if your kid goes and protests, this is what's going to happen. And if they leave the building, we release ourselves of all liability. It looks like they were so eager to go protest ICE, they didn't do any of that. Now, if I'm wrong, send me the email you got from the school, arikvi.com. But so far, what you've all sent me is the email afterwards. The email that says, we had nothing to do with it. Why didn't that go? What, you didn't know this was coming? Something like this does not just spontaneously, we're going to walk out at this time. When I was in charge of a youth group, I knew everything those kids were doing because kids are stupid and they can't shut up about it, especially on social media. So, for example, this is great.
And you can say kids are stupid because we were all kids once.
We all were kids.
All stupid.
I was a dumb kid. I got arrested on my prom night. I'm a very, very stupid kid. I can say that out loud, right?
Yeah.
So, talking about the stupid kids, for example, here's an example. I remember one time we had a weekend retreat. It wasn't a retreat. It was a weekend activity in the synagogue. The kids were there all weekend. And Saturday night, I had finished cleaning up. There was going to be an event Sunday morning. And I'm driving home back to my house, and all the kids' cars are parked in front of this one house. I'm like, gee, I wonder what's happening there. So me being me, park my car, get out of my car. Yeah, there may be some legal issues with this. And I walk right in the open front door for all the friends. And all the kids are there doing all the things you would assume kids do. And I go, hi, guys. The color draining from their faces was priceless, absolutely priceless. Then they scattered and we did punishments the next day. That was really, really fun. Yes, I was terrible like that. I was something to behold as youth director. Yes, we'll discuss that another time. Some of the ones are listening to the show right now, cracking up at some of the shenanigans. Meanwhile, if you want real reporting, don't go to Don Lemon. Because here's the thing, guys. Don Lemon gets a standing ovation at the Grammys, right? For what? Interrupting church services? Well, now the entire media has made it like Don Lemon is their cause of the day. We need to save Don Lemon, free the lemon, stop the squeeze on the lemon.
What's weird about this is this guy was kind of canceled, wasn't he?
Yeah, for not such good things.
Yeah.
Believe all men, women? I forget what it was. Something in a bar. I don't remember.
Adjacent to that,
Something like that, right?
Yes.
Why is Don Lemon not on CNN anymore? Gee, I wonder why.
And when he left, everybody at CNN and everyone in that orbit were kind of okay with him going, if I remember correctly.
Right. Now he's their hero. Including for Jay Inslee. Jay Inslee tweeted over the weekend, we are all targets of Trump's arrest of Don Lemon because journalists are very eyes and ears. As three-term governor of Washington, I know suppressing journalism might be high on the list of Trump's most dangerous travesties. We're with you, Don. Yeah, he actually tweeted that. He wrote, we are all targets of Trump's arrest on Don Lemon because journalists are very eyes and ears. As a three-term governor of Washington, I know suppressing journalism might be high on the list of Trump's most dangerous travesties. We're with you, Don. Suppressing journalism, you say, huh? Your office refused interviews for years, often refused to comment for stories, and said that me and other conservative journalists weren't real journalists. Your Democrat buddies in the state legislature denied me a press pass last week. Oh, and did we forget the time, Kevin, I don't know if you remember this. You remember the time Jay Inslee's office called our bosses to try and have me fired my first year on air? Do you even remember that? I get called into a meeting with certain people who don't work here anymore. I got called into a meeting. The governor's office just called wanting to talk about you? And now me, young radio host, I'm kind of giggling, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of like in my probationary time. And I get called up because the governor's office is mad at me? Yeah, they actually did that. You don't remember this at all?
Was that here or the other building?
That was the other building.
That's what I thought.
Different
okay, I do remember
building.
that. I do remember that. Okay.
Now you know which time, because there were multiple times something like this happened. Jay Inslee's talking about suppressing journalism. Are you kidding me with this? Jay Inslee never took any request for comment from anybody, or you got a snarky response from his right-hand guy, who, by the way, now works for the Attorney General, so I get snarky responses from him now. Jay Inslee, he did one interview with John Carlson in his last year in office or something like that, right? One interview. Did one interview, and that was when his office reached out to say we want to do an interview. Because for whatever reason, I don't know, Jay's trying to secure his legacy or something like that.
I don't understand where this, because both sides have their own activist journalists, right?
Yes.
Or what are they?
Rabble rousers. You mean
activist journalists or what do they call it? Man on the street journalists. Or,
we don't really do that.
Whatever. But at some point when this stuff does end up in court, and it will.
Yes.
How do you prove you're a journalist? Like it's one of those weird things where it's like You don't go and get a card that allows, like, look, I'm a journalist now. Or one of those stupid hats back in the day that say press up.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like, how is this ever going to be settled?
So that's a funny thing you ask. Okay, so let's put this out. The Babylon Bee said something like this. Don Lemon commits murder, but it's okay because he's a journalist, right? Does that give you license to do anything? No, of course not. Don Lemon steals a car. It's okay because he's a journalist. No,
Right.
of course not. Where do you draw the line? And yeah, the question is, what makes you a journalist? What, you have your own independent blog?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Just because you're a journalist, hang on, here's the dividing line.
Yeah.
Here's the dividing line. Forget whether or not you're a journalist. If you're a journalist, you cannot break the law. So you can't violate the FACE Act and block people from going to church and help organize. The thing is not whether or not Don Lemon is a journalist. The thing is whether or not he broke the law by coordinating this whole mess.
Right.
That's what it should be about, but you see how sticky this is. And as I said at the beginning, it just takes one juror to go, no, and we're done with this. That's the problem.
Yeah, because he's just going to be able to say, like, I caught wind of this possibly happening.
Yeah.
I showed up,
Yeah.
and I followed them reporting on what they were doing. That's what he's going to go with.
Do you know your precedent for this? This is great. Do you know your precedent? Well, under the Biden administration, there was that guy who said he was a journalist. Turns out he was a BLM Antifa activist, and he got arrested for January 6th. Hey, there's your precedent right there. Let's go in with that one. Just because you're a journalist doesn't give you license to break the law. We go to the Warrior Injury Law Studio line. Take a call from James in Tacoma. James, what's going on?
Yeah, as far as kids getting out of school, what's your feeling going to be come, I think it's next Wednesday, where if the schools and Seattle schools are going to be open as normal. However, if a kid wants to get out of school, whether they skip school or get out of school, they're going to be allowed to for the purpose of going to a Seahawks parade.
Seahawks parade. No, I am not in favor of that. And actually, I made a mistake as a parent. You ready for this, James? Here we go. I'm going to give you this. As a parent, I made a mistake. I stupidly pulled my kids out of school for the last Seahawks parade. And as I was doing it, I'm like, I'm not sure this is the right message to send. And actually, a friend of mine gave me a thing we call Musser and goes, Ari, that was really not a good thing because you sent the wrong message. And the parent was 100% right. I sent the wrong message by doing that. You want to say it's historical or something? Yeah, I understand. But you know what? If you want those kids learning and if you want to be true to your values, you shouldn't do that. So if my daughter says to me this time, Dad, can we go to the parade? The answer is going to be absolutely not. Just because your brother's got to go doesn't mean you... Wait a minute. Hang on a second here. I'm the worst parent in the world. As parents, we make mistakes. And yes, I made that mistake. 100%, James. You're 100% right for calling it out.
But even if something's going to happen once every 10 years,
I would say,
are your kids still in school next week?
Well, the problem is I'm going to say the following. I'm going to say school is more important. You can watch the parade on TV. I messed that one up. I 100% did. And I'm saying that in front of my entire audience. And if my daughter says, Dad, can we go to the Seahawks parade? The answer is going to be no. I'll get you press tickets to whatever's going on that night. No, I'm just kidding. All right, I'm going to say no. The answer will be no. But I will find some other way of doing it, right? I assume they have some kind of fan fest or something.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll check it out. But, James, I like your optimism. I like your enthusiasm. Great question. Appreciate you being part of the show. You want to be part of the show, you give us a call or text at 206-421-5757. That's 206-421-5757. When we come back, my friends, I told you about those laws that are going to make sure that illegal aliens stay off the roads and not behind the wheel of trucks. We have an expert joining us next to tell us all about